welcome to yet another episode of Costume Couture.
So many episodes.
Thank you for joining us again.
Of course.
Today, we have a very special guest.
So special.
So special.
So special.
So very, very
you
special.
You guys can cut the specials, okay? You're making it seem like it's something it's not.
You want to introduce yourself to our people?
I'm Ryan. Couture, not Couture. Spelled the same. I'm the owner-operator of Buster Props.
Yes.
And friend to these two, so...
Yeah.
Special friend.
Yes, special.
Again.
Yes, Buster Props is a fantastic prop making... Would you say business?
I would say business, yeah. I'd say the business. Yeah.
Do you pay taxes? Do you have a business license?
I don't want to get into the tax part. No, I'm not going to release my tax returns. Okay? No, yeah, we are a business. We do have a business license. We do sell things and make money doing it occasionally, so...
Good for you.
And you're local, too.
We are local to Kansas City. Yeah.
Yes.
So if you're a Kansas City person...
Support your local artists.
Always, please. We need your money.
Also, he doesn't really care where you're from, so...
No,
that's true.
London,
we ship worldwide.
Paris,
Yeah.
Australia...
Yeah, absolutely.
Support.
It can all be converted to US dollars.
I would love that.
So this is a spotlight on this guy and what he does and what
This
he
is
does
the
with
first
other
interview
people.
we've ever done. So
Cosplayer
yeah.
of the week.
Yes.
First interview I've ever
Hurrah!
done. So.
All right, so let's dig into it with our special friend.
So it's a little odd because I've known you for a long time now.
So you're gonna hear all the stories for the fourth or fifth time, probably.
Because I've experienced some of them
Well,
together.
Right.
Like, we host Screen Heroes together, where we're really good friends. So, it's fun interviewing your really good friend. And
I appreciate
hopefully
that.
I get to learn some new stuff today.
Yes, surprise us,
Well,
shock
it's an
us.
open book, so you probably already know everything.
Probably not. Yeah.
Give us our
Who
shock
knows?
faces. Let us peel you back like an
Shock
onion.
faces?
We're gonna peel you back like an onion, like in Shrek. And then...
There are layers.
Yeah.
That
Yes.
sounds sexy.
Not as sexy as you think. Once you get past the skin, it gets kind of nasty.
So, first off, how did you get into cosplay?
Well, like 12 years ago, something like that, I saw that somebody made a proton pack, and I had never really put two and two together. Like, movie props for me were always just something cool that was in the movie. It wasn't something that people actually made and replicated. So I started doing research and found a website called gbfans.com and the RPF, and they were both kind of in their infancy at that time.
Yeah.
12 years ago was a pretty good amount of time ago. So, so I started researching, and I was like, I'm going to do it. And like 3 days later, I started building a proton pack, and that was my first prop, which if you're getting into prop building, a proton pack, not the best idea to start with your first prop. There's a lot of pieces, a lot of moving...
It's a little intricate.
But yes, very detailed.
Just a little bit.
What went into it?
A lot of research.
Yeah.
Luckily, by the time I got into it, there have been people that had gone through and actually... somebody owned one of the screen-used proton packs, and so they took all the measurements, and you got the actual fittings. Back in the 80s when they made that movie, it was actual fittings, actual, wire harnesses and things like that. They weren't custom fabricated for the movie.
Right.
So, you have legless fittings, and you have clippered valves, and you have all these different things that they went to junkyards or, electronic scrap yards and pulled things off of. And that's what they used to build the prop, and it was called kit bashing. And that's what I had to figure out, whether I wanted to use resin copies, whether I wanted to buy the actual pieces. And that first one it looked accurate, but it was not accurate in terms of using actual pieces or anything.
So how many proton packs have you built to date?
Two.
And for those who are lost, you may be going, what's that? It's from Ghostbusters, just letting you know.
How dare you watch this and be lost at a proton?
Right, I'm just making sure I'm going to translate to the people. Maybe they don't know. Well, I don't know. They should know, though.
Do your research.
Yes, exactly.
No, yeah, I mean, I built two, and one was my first one. It was a vacuum formed shell, which is basically taking a piece of heated plastic and forming it over a master. With plastic, you just take the vacuum and it pulls all the air out, which pulls the plastic down on top of whatever your master is. And so it was very light, but also I called it the eggshell pack because it was like an eggshell thickness, and I was always scared that somebody was going to run into it and just destroy the whole thing.
Was it hollow on the inside?
Mostly, other than the electronics.
Right.
Yeah, it was completely hollow. And I actually served me extremely well for... I think I sold it two or 3 years ago, so I mean I had it in all that length of time, and other than a few minor repairs, it did pretty well, surprisingly. But then I built my new one. Actually, I started building my new one a little bit before that, and it it was all real parts.
Mm-hmm.
It had sound and lights, and whereas the other one just had lights, and it was a full thick resin cast shell, and all the accurate things. It was very heavy.
And you still have that one, or no?
I still have that one.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't really do the costume anymore, but I do have the pack on display at my place.
He makes a great Ghostbuster.
When was
that
the last
pack
time you
was
put
really
that
good.
on?
I think Halloween last year.
Was it
for
Scarlet? Yeah.
Yeah, that's the only time I really do it anymore. The great thing about a Ghostbuster costume, though, is that it can be anybody. Like,
That's true,
legitimately...
Anyone's a Ghostbuster.
Yeah, it doesn't
That's
matter
nice.
your race, it doesn't matter your weight, it doesn't matter your height. At this point, there's been in canon female Ghostbusters. There were before that in the cartoon, but
Right.
So
In the official movie canon, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, really, it can be anybody, and being a great Ghostbuster. I mean, I appreciate the compliment, but really, if you have
Right.
good gear, anybody can be a great Ghostbuster, and that's what I really loved about that costume.
So what came first, the pack or the car?
The pack. This first pack did. Yeah, and I started doing charity events. And I decided to build an Ecto 1, not the original, because it's very expensive.
Right.
And there's not many of them out anymore, considering it was 1959. But I built it out of 1995 Volvo and sourced the original lights and did all the wiring myself, which only caught on fire, I think, twice. So
Nice.
that was
Impressive.
I'm not an electrician. I'm a costuming electronics person.
Right.
Don't really deal with car high amperage applications. But so I built that and
Cool.
drove that around for a long time.
And that's always how, when we had events and stuff, I would always be knowing where the place was. I'm like, oh, there's the Ecto.
Yes.
I know I'm at the right place.
For a long time, that was your main vehicle.
It was my only vehicle. And then I bought a new one and I was like, I don't really like driving the Ecto anymore because the problem with driving a car from a movie is it gets a lot of attention, which is why you do it, but you get a lot of people that are trying to take pictures out on the highway at 70 miles an hour and their car is slowly going like this.
Yeah, that's kind of dangerous.
So, I'd rather just not get I don't like attention in general, so...
You were in the wrong business.
Exactly, sir. Why?
Yeah, when I'm in costume, it's a little different, but...
Right.
But mostly, I don't like attention. When I'm just trying to get to the place to go to, the grocery store to go do groceries, I don't want people running me off the road, so...
I get that.
So chances are, if you're in Kansas City and you saw the Ecto 1, it's a good chance it was this guy.
Mm-hmm.
Huge chance.
It's absolutely true.
So...
What came
12
next?
years ago, so what happened after that?
I didn't really, Ghostbusters was the main thing for a long time. I did, a Shaun of the Dead costume. We started doing zombie walks in Kansas City, and when that started, that's when I started doing Shaun of the Dead, and I did a couple other zombies during that time. But mostly, convention-wise, I just did Ghostbusters.
Right.
That was my main thing. I went to Dragon Con and did the parade as a Ghostbuster. The first year they ever did PKE Surge down there, which was a huge Ghostbusters event. Mm-hmm. That year we had 90 Ghostbusters in the parade, and
That's intense.
probably 9 Ectos of all different, Dodge Magnums. We had minivans. We had my car. We had
That's cool.
Yeah, and that was the year I bought the Volvo, so I had no idea. I bought it 2 months before that. I had just finished it. I was literally wiring it the week of the convention, and so I had no idea whether it would actually make it to Atlanta from Kansas City or not. It did.
Oh, good.
Yay.
Although somebody left the dome light on in the first day of Dragon Con, so when we went to go drive it for the parade, the battery was dead, and so we had to make an emergency run to a parts store and put a new battery in the parking garage it was not fun, but we got it done, and
nice.
Yeah.
I think you're the only person I know right now that's been part of the Dragon Con parade, so that's really good.
I agree. I don't know if I've known anyone else to do the Dragon Con parade.
It was an experience I'll never forget. As a Ghostbusters fan, I mean, you can probably, if you have, I'm sure you guys both have your similar fandoms that you're so passionate about, but being able to, drive an Ecto 1 through the streets and have all these people chanting Ghostbusters, just like in the movie.
That's so cool.
I mean, it gives me chills just thinking about it. It was a life-altering experience for me. It was unbelievable.
Yeah, my dream would be to go to one of the Star Wars celebrations and do a Star Wars costume and walk the parade and do all that. Would be my
It would be on the same
version.
level.
Yeah,
absolutely.
for sure.
It was something I will never forget. So it was beautiful. Yeah, and if you ever get a moment to do something like that, please don't be scared or be nervous about your costume or be nervous about those things. My car could have overheated in the middle of the parade. It was an old car at the time. There's just so many things. Yeah, the battery could have drained because those lights are super intense on the battery. There's so many things. But, I would have really regretted it if I hadn't done it. So, it was an amazing experience. But then I kind of, I started basically when we all kind of met and the KC Cosplay group started up, that was like, what, 2-3 years ago, something like that.
I'm going to say it's going on 3, isn't it?
2014.
Yeah, around that time, that's when I was like, hey, I could maybe do another costume. And so I did Arrow, I think,
and that's
was
how
the
I
next
met
one.
you.
That's how you met me.
That's how I think so too, yeah.
Yeah,
is what I
both of you probably, because that's how I met most of the people through the, I mean, I knew, like, Jessica Medditz Porter and some of the other big local people that have been doing charity stuff for a long time. That's how I met a lot of them. Elite Supergirl, look her up on Facebook, she's very cool. But that's how I knew a lot of them already. But yeah, the majority of the cosplayers, that's how I met, was through my Arrow costume. And
honestly, I didn't know really anything about Arrow or who he was. I thought you were Robin Hood.
A lot of people. I got that a lot that first year. Because when I did that costume...
You had your long beard, too.
I had my long beard, which wasn't accurate to the show, really. But, the show was only on, I think, season 2 at that point. Or it was just getting ready to come out. So not a lot of people were really familiar with it. Because I don't think it got viewership until that season.
Yeah.
But, yeah,
I'm like, he does a great Robin Hood. I don't know what design this, but it's a good Robin Hood.
I appreciate that.
That's a good Robin Hood,
I can't take credit for the suit because the suit, I don't do soft parts, but I did do a screen accurate season 1 recurve bow and some other smaller parts. So that was.
So you had Stephen Amell sign.
I didn't have him sign it. I did have him hold it for a picture though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was going to pay for a signature, but then I was like, I'll just get a picture of him holding it. That's even better.
There you go.
And then I can resell it if I want, and, I still have the picture.
He touched it. Did he say anything about it? Did he like it?
He said excellent work, yeah. So, but when you're getting, like, herded in, I don't know if you've done those photos, but you get herded in, and, like, you're in there for 2 seconds,
and then
you don't really
click,
get to say anything.
It. Yeah.
So I was like, can you hold my bow for the picture? And he's like, oh, excellent work. And then we were gone.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, it was, it was probably just him being nice, but it was still a nice acknowledgement. So yeah, there was that, and then I've done a couple other random costumes throughout the years.
Well, like what?
I don't even remember all of them. I did Matt the Radar Technician.
That was hilarious.
That was at what, KCC?
That was at KCC last year, which kind of sucked because it was well past the time that Saturday Night Live sketch came out. But there were still some people who recognized it.
It was so funny because I'm like, what?
Yeah, a bunch of people.
Why does Ryan have blonde hair? Wait a minute.
Well, there was one guy that was like, I had no idea that was even you.
Yeah, because you had glasses, you had the blonde hair, you had,
I did a Burt Macklin costume, which those 2 costumes are not like super build intensive or anything. I did a Star Wars: The Old Republic Jedi. That was all 3D printed armor. So that was probably one of my
Talk to us a little bit about that, because when I met you, you were working on it at that time.
Because you were on it for a while, weren't you?
Yeah, so that costume was born, there was a trailer that came out for the game Star Wars: The Old Republic, and it was I was a Star Wars fan my whole life, but seeing that trailer was something that was like a completely different experience for me. The cinematic was beautiful, everything that went into it was beautiful.
It's the one where they go into the Jedi Temple, right?
Yes, the sacking of Coruscant, and the Jedi and the Sith wore armor, which they never wear in any of the trilogy. No. And this was taking place hundreds of years before that, and it was like nothing I'd seen before, and I was like, that is just awesome. And a lot of people gravitate towards the Sith costume from that because they have a cool, helmet and
the darker
mask
colors
and the darker colors, and they get the cool red lightsaber. But the Jedi armor really appealed to me. I really liked they used a very unique shade of green and orange on it. And so I started working on that, and then I gave up for like a year. And I think that was like one of our first podcasts when we really became friends. I was like, this is the costume I really want to do.
Yeah.
And and I gave up on it because it was a lot of work, and I didn't want to do it in a way that didn't pay respect to the character.
You didn't want to do it. You want to half-ass it.
I didn't know what language was allowed.
Oh, you can cuss. Fuck shit balls. Okay. Cuss all you want to.
That makes it a lot easier. So yeah, I didn't want to fuck up the original character basically because I was so respectful. And one thing about me is I'm always respectful to the source material. I always try and do.
I do admire that about you. You are very one for detail work.
I try and get very specific. But yeah, I wanted to make sure I nailed it, and so basically right when I started really doing the stuff for Buster Props was I bought a 3D printer, and before I started selling prints, I wanted to figure out what I was doing because I really had no idea. And so I started printing a full armor set, which is not the ideal way to start start 3D printing, but that's what I did, and it's paid off so far.
You don't, just dip your toe in.
No,
you go full force.
I apparently picked the worst possible thing to do.
And then we go to the deep end without water wings, and let's just see what happens.
That's accurate. Yeah, it was, the full armor was a full chest piece. There's a full crotch waist piece. There's bracers, shins, and quads, and just the chest alone was something like 30 pieces. Because at the time I had a printer that didn't do very big parts. And so, so it was a lot of finishing work. I didn't know that you could adjust resolution, really.
Right.
So, it was all the set resolution, and I could have done it a lot faster and better looking now.
Yeah.
But it was a learning experience, and that costume kind of went viral. It went on the front page of Reddit, on the Star Wars subreddit, and then on the Cosplay subreddit, and it was there for a day and a half or something, so that's decent.
And you don't see many people doing that costume. You see more people doing, the movies, the Clone Wars. You don't really see them doing the Old Republic stuff.
Even if you search Old Republic Jedi cosplay, I don't know if mine will pop up, but you'll see very few because there's really not a lot out there. And it's probably one of the top ones out there at this point. But that one, and then there was one viral shot of my Ghostbuster. Those all got shared on random Twitter accounts that I never got credit from or anything. But that just is kind of how it works with that stuff. So just be happy that people like your stuff.
Now, knowing what you know now, would you ever redo that armor?
I would think about it. Probably not, though, because I loved that character and I love that armor, but really, I just wanted a picture in it of me wearing it and it looking awesome, and I've got that. And so now I'm moving on to the next. I've just got such a list of characters that I would love to do, and going back is not something I see myself doing right now. But never say never. I get weird urges all the time for that kind of stuff and want to redo things, and so who knows.
So you're also the proud father of how many 3D printers?
Right now I have 5. I actually just ordered a 6th earlier today. I've got 5. Really only 3 of them work at any given time. It's just kind of the nature of the beast with 3D printers. But so 2 of them are always constantly down. One of them's always down for parts because it blew the main circuit board. So I just take all the parts that I want off that one.
Let's do this.
Yeah, it's my junk piece right now.
Your junk printer.
And the other ones just go down for random reasons. So they when you're running as a business, you always have to have a backup plan, and so that's why I have so many. Cause
I think you're the only person I know that has 6 now 3D printers. I don't know anyone else who has that many.
Well, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but I'll take it for what it's worth.
It's good because that means you can do more stuff. That's what I'm going to go with.
It also means I spend a lot of time burning my hands and wrenching on things. So.
All right, so let's talk about some of what Buster Props does.
How did you get that name, first off? Is it because of Ghostbusters?
Yeah, really, at the time, the truth to it is that I did the Ghostbusters costume for a long time, but then I was also wanting to do a Hulkbuster costume at the time. Oh, okay. And I was making this, Buster Props was originally Buster Costumes and Props, and it was my, it was supposed to be my cosplay page, because I didn't want to spam build photos on my normal Facebook. But then the Hulkbuster fell by the wayside. I was helping other people with their costumes, and kind of lost track of time and didn't have time to go back and do it. I like to do things while they're relevant.
Right.
And so if I can't do something while it's relevant, I tend to give up on it for whatever reason. But so that kind of went by the wayside. I still have the giant stilts I made up sitting in my house that I don't know what I'll ever do with them. But
well, there's another costume of yours that you've talked about that you haven't finished it, and I want you to do it.
It's not going to happen, probably.
Which one is it?
Sucks. Swamp Thing.
Yeah, Swamp Thing's one of my favorite characters. But right now, the business is all my focus, and so that costume would be so intense that it would take up so much time. I don't know that I'll get to it. Who knows? I'm not, if they announce Justice League Dark movie, that a release date and it's firm, that could happen.
Well, and he's also in the new Injustice game too, with a bunch of different looks.
A movie would be where I do it. Not for a game. But he is in the new Justice game. I'm really excited about that. But so that's the true story of Buster Pops. I was doing 2 costumes that had the word Buster in it, and I was like, okay,
let's do it.
So, but now I just tell people that it was because I did Ghostbusters for a long time, and that's where the Buster came from, because it was something that was very important to me. So.
Okay. So what is Buster Props in costumes?
It's actually not Buster Customs and Props anymore. It's just Buster Props.
That's it, Buster Props.
Yes, we did. Yes. We did change it a little while after we actually started really selling stuff. It's basically what it sounds like. We do 3D printed. I had a bad experience with a local 3D printer that I paid decent money to get something printed, and I hated the fact that it came to me with needing a ton of work that probably would have been fixed by somebody that was actually a cosplayer and cared about the way it looks. And so I saw an opportunity to bring value 3D printing, so to speak, to people that need it.
Right.
The costuming community at the time, 3D printing was still something that was like, wow, and it still kind of is. But,
yeah.
People were like, 3D printed, it's a buzzword. And so, a lot of people were into it. And so I was like, I'll buy a printer and see what I can do. And so that's how it started. I think actually the first thing I started was with the Casey Jones mask, which was actually the bad 3D print that I was talking about. It took so much work to fix it. I started selling those just through my Facebook page. And then once I got the armor for the Jedi done, or at least printed, I started experimenting with other stuff. I had a friend that was doing a Batman costume from Dawn of Justice. This was around February 2016. I think that movie came out in March.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so I started dipping into 3D modeling and things like that. And so I designed a 3D printed full belt kit for the Dawn of Justice Batman.
Which looks really good.
Thank you. And it's gone through a couple incarnations since I started selling that. But basically, February 2016, I started selling that on Etsy. And, that got crazy right up until the movie. I saw that, it was going to be a little nuts. And that one printer was a little low to be doing the volume that it requires when a new movie is coming out that you're selling something for.
Do you have a Casey Jones mask or a belt kit on
I did.
you?
I don't have a belt kit. I did bring a Casey
You have the
Jones
mask?
I did bring the mask. This one is our V1 mask, which our first incarnation. I just finished molding the V2 mask, but the V2 is a little shorter because I didn't like the way this one sits on the face. It's a little long. The mouth kind of comes below where your normal mouth is, and the nose is kind of high up. But it's still a great mask and it's still functional. But
Absolutely.
we decided to upgrade it, and that was the first guy we ever started selling.
One of my favorite parts about your Casey Jones mask is that you do it in multiple different ways, so it reflects like the different movies. You have a cartoon and you have
I've sold some Stephen Amell Casey Jones masks. Yeah, the one like from the new movie, which I'm not the biggest fan of that paint job. It's a very intense paint job, and it doesn't look like a hockey mask when you have like bird marks.
Well, you also have like comic one, and
yes,
you have
I did
a cartoon one too. So you've added.
And I did like a random cold cast metal one that was just did because I like cold casting and I don't like to do it very often.
But it kind of looks like the black and white comic book one. So that's a cool thing.
And it kind of has like a Jason X vibe to it. It did a Casey Jones X in space, and I guess maybe that would work. But
that would be a
Casey
fun
in space,
crossover
that would
costume.
be like, oh, what's Daddy? No.
Yeah, I don't.
Oh God.
I'm not gonna get into that daddy issues. So that was the 3D printed belt kit kind of went big, and then I was like, well, this isn't so bad. I can design some other stuff, and so I just designed a bunch of other stuff. And April of 2016, my buddy John and the husband to Ray's partner on the Super Sirens,
and the co-host to Gamer Heroes.
Yes, the co-host to Gamer Heroes, which is more of a streaming service than a podcast
at
this
now.
point. But it's John. He kind of joined officially on. I saw that he was really excited about the things he was doing, and I was excited about the things that he wanted to do. And so I kind of I had more experience in certain parts of building than he did, and so I kind of started working with him and brought him on as our sculptor. So he's done.
He started with a Mortal Kombat mask, right?
He started. That was before Buster Props.
Yeah.
His first sculpted thing was a Mortal Kombat mask, and he kind of dug into molding and casting around that time, and that's where I had a little bit more experience than him. So I kind of started to help him out with the processes and finally tune that. And so his first project he did as a Buster Props representative, so to speak, it was a Daredevil Season 2 mask, because Daredevil Season 2 was releasing, I think, April of last year.
Yes.
And so he released that. We were the first ones to release it and start selling it.
And it looks fantastic.
It's so good.
Yeah, I mean, when you look, I mean, everybody still thinks it looked good, and I don't disagree. But now going back to it and seeing how he's improved in the sculpting, he could do a crazy good Daredevil mask now. And he, at the time, we realized that it wasn't going to be the best on the market because it wasn't a fully 3D printed mask. It wasn't perfectly symmetrical, things like that. So we priced it a little lower, and it was at a price point that was kind of above the ex-Cozer stuff, but below what most other people sell their stuff for. And so we sold quite a few of those. And then he moved on. We decided to kind of tap the market for female cowls a little bit because there's a need for it.
Absolutely. I always want to do helmeted or cowled costumes.
A lot of women do, and there weren't a lot of options. And
there's not.
So we were trying. We saw it was kind of a dipping our toes into it because I hadn't really done any masks that were specifically oriented at females, and neither had John, obviously, because at the time he had just done Daredevil. But we were like, well, let's try Batgirl. And so we did a Batgirl, and I 3D printed the ears, and John sculpted the actual mask part. And that one, we've been extremely happy. I mean, people have been responding well to it. Rachel bought one.
I do have one. I had prodded John to do it since he talked about molding and casting more, and I was like, look, I want a Batgirl one. I bought a cowl, and it was pretty bad. It was pretty rough. I don't know if you saw it.
I saw it too,
how rough it was. And so I was like, John, you could do better.
Yes.
And then next thing I know, he's doing it.
He did better. And ta-da.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
He knocked it out of the park with that one. And then when we started taking our product photos and things like that, we were like, that could really work for a Catwoman cowl too if we just changed the ears up and changed the eyes a little bit and a couple other little things. And so he changed it up a little bit and did and made it into a Catwoman cowl, which I have. Is an owner of a modified version of that.
Yes, I'm doing a gender bent Catwoman for PCC, and this...
Is that a secret? Did I just ruin it?
You kind of did.
Well, no.
It's whatever. It's
we're not celebrities.
No, we're not.
Get surprise
exactly.
costumes.
But it's a fantastic sculpt, and John was nice enough to modify it for me because my head is too big.
You're a dude.
I am a dude, and when I put it on, the eyes were like up here. I couldn't breathe. It was just all kinds of messed up. But he modified
it. But it fit Derek really well.
But it did, which just upset me greatly.
Derek looked really fabulous in it too.
Yes.
That's the problem, yeah.
But he modified it for me to make it look more kind of like the Arkham City version of Catwoman.
That's cool.
And it fits perfectly, and I love it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's a good cowl. It hasn't been as popular as our Batgirl, but, it's at least it's out there for people.
Yes.
Yeah, of course.
And
you have color variations
we do.
on both the Batgirl and the Catwoman.
Yeah, the thing about, we cast them in Vitaflex 40, which is a urethane rubber, and the nice thing about it is instead of painting like I have to do on my resin masks, it's just dyed, and you don't have to worry about the color coming out or anything like that. So if there's a color of dye that's available to us for the urethane, we can do it in that color.
So you can do custom colors for people.
We've done blue Batgirls, we've done purple Batgirl, which I wasn't familiar that I didn't even know there was a purple Batgirl.
Isn't that Stephanie
Yeah, maybe
something?
Stephanie had
I think so, yeah.
I
She's
don't
like
know.
the new
I
52
Batgirl. She had
Batgirl.
a black cowl though, and a purple outfit. Oh well.
So we've done all those colors
purple,
on that.
the 60s Batgirl had a purple cowl.
Yeah, this one was not a 60s Batgirl costume, but she did. You're not wrong.
But yeah, I was starting. Yeah.
And we've done a purple and black Catwoman, and we actually have another color that I can't reveal right now, but it'll be on display at our table. That's not just a special color; it's a full special.
Is it for Catwoman?
Yeah, and it's. I think it's one that people are gonna like if they're true fans of the character.
That's cool.
So swing by our table and check that out. And so we can do them all the different colors. And John's latest sculpt was a Batman cowl, which we haven't really shown much of, but we did bring one with us here. It's kind of based off the Dawn of Justice Batman, as far as like the ears and the upper head and back of the neck go, but then the brow line is more from like the Justice League movie, because the Justice League has a more aggressive brow than the Dawn of Justice.
This looks amazing. Like,
It's
is it
so
on sale yet, or?
It is not on sale yet. We're probably either the weekend that Planet Comicon is going on, so April 28th through 30th, or immediately after it'll be on sale. But we'll have a blue one and we'll have this black one on display there. So if people want to come check those out, they can.
And this is a good sturdy. The thing is, this won't tear. Like, it's a good sturdy material. My Catwoman cowl, I've put it on so many times, it doesn't tear. This is a really good quality piece.
Yeah, and we try and cast them thick so that people don't have issues with them. I mean, it is still a rubber, so it's possible to tear it, but I mean, you'd have to really be negligent to do it. Like on Batman cowls, right around the edge of the mouths or the tear spots for the most part, and the edge of the eyes. So, I mean, unless you're really yanking it, I think you could really yank on this one and not have that issue. But, I mean, if you were trying to, you probably could. But, yeah, these are super durable. If you've never put on a Batman cowl, I had my first experience with it with one of John's, and it is not a glorious experience. You see these Batman cosplayers walking around, and you never really think about what it takes to squeeze into something like this. Well, one that has the full neck anyway. And it's a feat, but it's worth it. And
what people don't realize is that with cowls like this and Catwoman and Batgirl, your hearing is significantly...
The thicker it is, especially. I know that some of the other cowl makers have theirs thicker on the ears, and you can't hear anything.
It's... Because my Catwoman, I have to go I have to peel what?
Yeah, that's absolutely true. I'm sure Rachel can speak from experience.
It's definitely muffled, but I do have hearing. It's still there.
Because I'm afraid I'm gonna yell at someone, and they're gonna be like, "You're yelling. Just stop talking."
And we did modify a Batgirl to do a Batgirl Burnside costume.
Cool.
So I mean, we don't do that a lot, but if somebody specifically requests it. Usually we only do that kind of stuff for local people, like we did for you, because, everybody's face is different, and if we were, sticking a Batgirl cowl on Rachel's face and cutting it out for the Batgirl Burnside, or however you want to, around the ears and everything, then it might be different on somebody else. It might fit differently.
Absolutely.
So really we don't do that a lot on the internet orders, but we do custom colors and everything on the internet orders, and we would entertain the thought of doing it for an internet order if somebody was understanding. But
Sure.
Yeah. So that's all John's new stuff. He's knocking out of the park. He did do a Robin, Dawn of Justice domino mask.
Cool.
That's very cool, and those are relatively inexpensive if you're needing a domino mask for anything, and we can do them in pretty much any color.
So many characters have a domino mask that it's necessary, and a good one. A lot of women paint theirs on for Black Cat and for Harley Quinn and everything, but I always recommend going with
nothing really beats it. Yeah, I mean, when you can see the depth in the eye, that's for me is what makes it a difference. Painting it on is fine, but I never took Arrow seriously until he wore a mask. Grease paint does not work.
And with domino masks like this, what do you recommend people attach them with? Spirit glue, adhesive?
I always use... The only experience I have with actually wearing one is with my Arrow mask, and that I use an elastic strap for.
Okay.
But you can use Pros-Aid or Spirit Gum or anything. It's not so heavy that it's going to be pulled off. Okay. I mean, the Robin one, it just by design is thick. He has it has a very thick brow. You only see it for a minute in the movie, but John actually got to go see the actual prop.
Yes.
And so he got to see all that. But a female or a male could wear it. It's just probably a little more aggressive than most women want in terms of the brow line. Right. But I think it looks cool either way. And like I said, we can do it in all these different colors. We've done purple, blue, black, red. So
cool.
Yeah, all the common colors. We haven't done green yet. That would be an interesting one.
It would be.
Yeah, so he's got some other ideas coming up. So I don't know if he's started on any of them. I don't think he has, but he'll be at Planet Comicon. We do have a table at Planet Comicon.
Cool.
April 28th through 30th. Again, come visit us.
You're doing a raffle too, aren't you?
We're doing a charity raffle. Yes. Yeah, it's going to be benefiting Noah's Bandage Project. So check them out, and we're going to be giving away a purple Batgirl. Or no, purple Catwoman, excuse me, a Jay Garrick helmet, maybe signed by Teddy Sears. Hasn't happened yet, but we're working on it. And then I have a 3D printed out of wood material Baby Groot that we're going to be giving away also. So
that sounds awesome.
Yeah, it's going to be cool.
So what can we expect out of Buster Props?
Yes, what's next?
This year?
What's next? Well, we're adding a lot of stuff to our Etsy store, probably May through June, that we've got done, but we're just kind of, the problem with props is you try and isolate the method to it because you want to be consistent. And so I've got let's see, I've got these soldier gloves from Overwatch they were originally 3D printed and then we molded and cast them in Vitaflex 30.
That's really nice.
And
I love those.
Yeah, they're pretty comfortable to wear, and because the rubber is so soft, it's very easy to move in. And so those will be going up in our shop probably around Planet Comicon time.
Cool.
And then I didn't bring a finished one, but we got our Cheshire masks. I've sold one of these to somebody who wanted one early for a costume at Planet Comicon. But yeah, I haven't quite nailed down the paint job that I want to do on all of them yet. So these will be going out in the next couple months also. There's the last piece of an eye in there, you can see. But I just grabbed it from my garage real quick.
That's cool.
Yeah, and so, I mean, I've got the V2 Casey Jones and the Jay Garricks are not in the shop yet. But yeah, etsy.com/shop/busterprops, and that's our direct link.
I'll make sure to link it down below as well so y'all can follow it.
Favorite it,
go to it. Yes.
Go follow us on social media, all that jazz. I did bring this too, which is
I'll say, do you want to show the big one? Can you get it on here?
This is our biggest
We can all just share it.
Here.
3D print that I've ever done. It's not as heavy as I make it seem. But yes, it is a Soldier 76.
There we go.
Soldier 76 rifle from Overwatch. A lot of ones we see on costume or on convention floors are small.
Yes.
This one is not.
This is like 2 sides, isn't it? Or
no, this is this is the same size as the actual gun. Yeah, most of them are small because something like this is not as easy to 3D print or carry around at a convention.
And he's selling it for $10. No, it's
not. I'm not. This is actually not my design, so I'm not going to be selling it at all. But I am going to be using it with the costume later in the year. But yeah, this is the biggest in terms of density and overall size 3D print that we've done.
This just shows how much amazing detail 3D printers can do, because this is...
You said earlier this took you over 100 hours.
Yeah, I think each of these pieces, like you can see where the seams are because I haven't cleaned it up or anything, but each of the pieces was probably around 20 hours if they printed right the first time, which some of them didn't. You can see like on this end piece here, I had an issue. I think I ran out of filament, so I had to reprint the top piece and attach it. And stuff like that happens in 3D printing, but I didn't want to waste 11 or 12 or however many hours of printing that was.
Absolutely.
So yeah, things like that happen. But it's got well over 100 hours into it, probably closer to 200, and it was a lot of fun to print. Very frustrating at times, but
it's got some good weight to it too. It's
heavy. Yeah. It's heavy.
How long in finishing do you think it'll take you?
I'm not gonna go crazy finishing like I do for the stuff I mold and cast.
That makes sense.
Because it's just such a huge prop that
and
I don't
it is
have
just
time
for you.
that.
It's your prop.
It's just for me. We're not selling them, and all it needs to do is look good at I prefer them to look good at closer, but really as long as it looks good in pictures.
Right.
So I'll probably spend another 15, 20 hours maybe finishing it at the most. And call it good, but
cool.
Yeah, I mean it was a fun one.
That's
intense.
It is.
Yeah, that one's fun. And I'm gonna be wearing the soldier gloves with that costume, and I've got the jacket and all that jazz. He's got a little bandolier on his shoulder with some Helix rocket ammo in them, and I have the 3D print file for those that I've made, and I'm gonna be selling those too. So
cool.
Lots of crazy stuff coming down the pipeline.
And then what's another costume you're working on that you've been teasing us with?
Skeletor.
There we go.
That's gonna be. We have a Masters of the Universe group that's gonna be at Planet Comicon. Rachel is part of that. Ian is not part of that. He wasn't invited.
That's okay. I don't want to be a part of it anyway.
Yeah. Well, we don't want you as part. So
okay. Fuck off.
You're doing Skeletor.
I'm doing Skeletor. John's doing He-Man, and he looks just like He-Man. I expect all the same muscles and everything. And then
nipples.
Hills there's definitely nipples involved. Hills does not have nipples involved. Hers is Evil Lynn,
yes,
which is Skeletor's right-hand woman. So
interesting dynamic there.
Yeah, and Tila, which is what Rachel is doing, is Prince Adam's bodyguard.
Yes.
So in the cartoon.
And love interest.
It's a very weird relationship that they have, but that's a whole nother discussion.
And then for your Skeletor, you do 3D print the belt? What's happening there?
So that one's like a combination of a bunch of different things. I wanted to try 3D printing flexible materials, and so maybe we'll be able to put link pictures or something, but it has some weird things that hang off the shoulders that are 3D printed in a flexible material, and then the armor on the shoulders is styrene, and then I have a collar armor that's all styrene, and then it has these little feathery things coming up that are 3D printed flexible material. The chest piece that has the skull on it and everything is printed in flexible material, and this was all modeled by me. The little riblet things that's coming down to go to the chest armor, that was all flexible. The belt was a kind of a unique thing. I designed the buckle flat and made it just with an empty hole in the middle, and once it was done printing, I stuck it in the oven, which I don't necessarily recommend anybody does unless you really know what you're doing, and getting it hot enough to where it was soft but not I could
melty.
Yeah, not melty. And then I kind of formed it to my stomach that way because it's a lot easier to print something flat than it is to print something curved.
Right.
And then I sculpted the Hordak skull in that, and just kind of I've been using foam and all kinds of different methods of fabrication for it.
It looks great so far. Like, it looks really
and
good.
a lot of it is in the paint and the finishing work. Like, the construction, I don't feel like is really that great. I mean, as long as it looks great, that's what's important.
Yeah.
But the paint will be. It's always been where I have most fun, and that's what really for me sells a prop.
I completely agree.
Oh yeah, for sure. Because the attention I always say is in the detail.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, you can hide, or I like to embellish on imperfections and make them seem like it was something that happened to the prop, because I don't like clean.
Something like battle damage or
battle
something.
damage, or
I hate
scrape
that
the edges.
Armored costumes look neat and pristine.
Right, yeah. Unless you're like Iron Man, maybe you can get away with it.
Well, Iron Man, yeah, that's kind of a unique one, but he even has, it doesn't look as interesting to me, even like when it's straight off his Jarvis printer, whatever that is. When it's perfectly painted, it looks way more interesting when it's got like the black burn marks and like the silver on the edges of the parts. And so yeah, I think the paint job is really what sells Skeletor, and is also what, in general, sells props. That's
now, can you do the Skeletor voice?
I can, but I'm not going to do it here.
Okay.
Oh, that's too bad.
I only do it when I have the costume on, so you have to wait for that one.
Right.
But if you're lucky, I'll call you a bumbling boob.
Oh, that's always fun.
Yeah.
And so, we have that. Do you have anything else going on towards the end of the year?
I'm doing the soldier costume at Kansas City Comic-Con. We haven't decided for sure. We might have a table at Kansas City Comic-Con. We did last year. It kind of depends
Any
what
other
happens at that
tables this
convention.
year, or are you really just focusing on Planet?
The thing about prop builders and tables is, like, we don't really sell that much at tables. So something like Planet is, it's kind of an expensive endeavor, and we're probably not going to make that money back at the convention. So when you do that, it's really for the social media presence and everything.
You're hoping that you get a visibility so that when people move on for their next costumes, they think of you.
Yeah, when people see the back row, they're like, hey, I never thought about that. There's a local guy doing the cowls, and it looks really good. Maybe I'll do it. Or you just get the one-on-one interaction with people, and then, they're your friend, or you get along, and so they want to support you, and so we just do it to kind of meet more of the community. This is our first Planet Comicon with a table, and it's because it's such a huge convention. I'm hoping that we get some good. I mean, we'll have world-class cosplayers there.
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
Well, at least one.
Negri.
Yeah, I mean.
Well, Abby Darkstar, there's two.
I don't know. I'm not going to get into the specifics of whether somebody's world-class or not, but yeah, I mean, there's some good cosplayers there. I mean, just in general, locally, we have some really great, amazing cosplayers that might not be super well known, but they're as good as some of the bigger ones that I've seen. So yeah, I'm just hoping that we get to have some good chats and talk to some people, and grow our presence online and everything else. So
is the best way to contact you for all these props, is it at your Etsy shop?
I mean,
Facebook.
I cover I'm the one that deals with all the social media and online stuff, and so if you message our Facebook, I'll be the one that responds. If you message our Etsy, I'll be the one that responds. Really, either of those is fine. I don't check Twitter. I do post on Twitter, but I don't really check it very often, so that's probably not the best method. But Instagram, even if you DM me on Instagram, then I'll respond.
Slide into those DMs.
I slide into those DMs all the time. I never get any DMs on Instagram, so please DM me so I don't feel left out. I need to slide into some DMs. I don't know what that means, but I'm sure it's something good.
Sure.
All right. Well, that about wraps it up for
Yes.
us. Of course, you can reach Ryan and John subsequently at Buster Props.
You'll reach me and I'll reach John.
There you go.
That's how we do it.
Everybody reaches someone.
That's right.
There's touching involved.
And where can people reach you?
They can reach me at Hause of Turner Cosplay. They can reach you at
Super Sirens Cosplay.
And don't forget to subscribe to Heroes Podcast Network. Like this video.
Get in your submissions for Cosplayer of the Week.
DM us. We want DMs.
No, I don't. I get enough.
I don't get enough.
Last night.
Ooh.
And the following message said, "Does this look good?" And I wanted to be like, "No, you should go to a doctor."
Yeah. Oh, never mind.
Like.
Is that what?
You should go to
I have so many ideas, but we're probably best not to get into this.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.